BBA to lead us into prayer. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. A'udzu billahi minasy syaithanir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki yaumiddin. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين.
In the name of Allah, the gracious, the merciful, Christ to God, Lord of the world, the most gracious, the most merciful, the master of day of judgment, it is you we worship and upon you we call for help. Guide us to the straight path, path of those who has blessed, not of those against whom there is anger, nor of those who has misguided. Amen.
I now call upon Mohsin Oke from final year BBA to deliver the welcome speech.
Good morning. I'm extremely overwhelmed with this opportunity to address you all on this occasion. We all have gathered here today as a part of event organized by our college, Commerce and Management Association. Here we are getting an opportunity to learn from today's resource person. On behalf of our college, I welcome our chief guest, Mr. Sachin AC, renowned HR professional and consultant to this event. I request our beloved principal to welcome our today's chief guest by handing over a chaplain. Thank you, sir. I welcome our beloved principal, Dr. Sarfraz J. Hashim, who has been constantly supportive of our institution. Welcome, sir. Now, I welcome our HOD, Ms. Preeti Pereira, Mrs. Chaitanya, the coordinator of Commerce and Management Association. I also welcome our student welfare officer, Ms. Deepthi Udyawar. Last but not the least, I welcome all students present here. Once again, welcome you all on stage.
I now call upon Ajmal Amin from final year BCom to introduce the esteemed guest to the audience.
Good morning, everyone. It is my great pleasure to introduce today's resource person, Mr. Sachin AC. Mr. Sachin AC is a HR professional with over 20 plus years of experience with leadership role as a HR business partner and corporate HR expert with strong exposure on strategic business partnership, employee relation, talent management, compensation and benefit. He is an alumnus of St. Aloysius College in Commerce stream. He has obtained post-graduation diploma in industrial relation and personal management. He is also a trainer professional and has attended international workshop at Banyan Tree Management Academy, Phuket, Thailand. He is also the advisor in employee branding. He is currently working as HR consultant with Florentine Business Solution Private Limited, Mangalore. He has started his career with Hotel Punja International Private Limited, Mangalore, and has worked with the companies like the Atria Hotel Bangalore, Prestige Leisure Resorts Private Limited, Bangalore, Manipal Group Bangalore, and MRG Group Bangalore. He is a leading HR professional in hotel industry. We are extremely pleased to have you here, sir. Thank you.
It is indeed our pleasure to welcome Amin Sir, Director of MBA. We welcome you, sir. I now request the resource person, Mr. Sachin AC, to deliver the most awaited speech. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Hope I'm audible to everyone in the last. If I'm not audible, you can just lift your hand up and say I'm not audible. So I'm actually audible to everyone, right? Is it okay now? Okay. Right. I thank PA College for giving me this opportunity to talk to you guys. And it's a great pleasure for me to be here with friend of you, and maybe I should be of a good use for you by the end of this session, probably. So I would all request you all to be a little relaxed and give more importance to whatever you want to take a points from whatever I discuss out over here. Okay, and it's not like hard and fast that you have to follow what I say and what I speak out over here. Okay. Request you all to have a small paper and a pen in your hand so you can note down whatever I say, which is useful for you. And maybe in the end, we'll have a session where you will have a question answer, like you can ask me the questions in the end. Or maybe in between, if someone wants to interrupt me and ask something which you want to know, I will do it for you. Guys, back, I'm audible, right? Audible. I was given a topic saying that a journey from campus to corporate. Basically, I will be guiding you guys on the subjects like how to shape your career and how to choose a company once you finish your studies, and how to prepare your resumes, how to face interviews, and how to make maximum use of the technology. This is not a rocket science or such things. Now everything's available in YouTube, or you Google it, you'll come to know how to go about this subject. Okay, but there are some finer points like which makes you a little bit ahead of other students when you face interviews, and I'll tell you what are the types of interviews you may face and how you should be getting ready for that. Okay, how to build, inculcate like culture in you, and how you should develop yourself into that. Okay, and now if I want to ask you someone, why did you choose? I think I believe all are from commerce background, right? All are from commerce background. If anyone out of commerce background, you're from the science background. Okay. Because I was being told that it's most of commerce. It's fine. You guys also can listen to it. All are commerce background. Okay. Now, if I could ask, if I could ask one of the guys to stand up and tell why did you choose commerce? What made you choose commerce? If anyone like could say, stand up and tell me why did you choose commerce? What was the reason for you to choose commerce? Good morning.
My name is Marcel.
Okay.
So commerce is the best according to me. Management comparing all these other skills because we get a lot of business ideas, business point in this commerce management. Also, commerce is something it's running our economy in the nation. So I think it's the best one to choose commerce.
Is it because you want to get a job or you want to do a business?
So it's because I don't want to do a business.
You want to do a business. Someone from girls, like why did you choose commerce?
Morning, sir.
Good.
So, I'm from science background. Actually, I have studied 11th and 12th I've been in science, but I wanted like something. I want to explore in entrepreneur skills. I wanted to know more about business and all. So after that, I choose commerce for that.
Okay, right. See, I've come across quite a few people across in my career, and there are quite a few people, and I found certain reasons why people choose a particular subject, and what happens. Sometimes what happens is the reason for someone to choose a particular subject will be because they'll be having some godfather. Like they might be having somebody in their mind and they want to think like, no, I want to be like this person. So that's why they choose a particular subject. It's not only because of commerce, it can be anything. It can be science stream, or they want to be someone like that particular individual. So that's where the person, the godfather says, no, like, oh, this person is like this. And he says that, no, you have to study this subject. Okay, there will be a particular individual in your life where you respect a lot. The person says whatever he says, you believe it. So when he says that you take commerce, you take commerce. No, most of the cases it happens like that. Then certain times you get inspired by a particular individual. Very much. Maybe it may be your neighbor, it may be one of your uncles, or it may be one of your society member, or maybe one of the figures in your city or someone like. You get inspired and you also feel like, no, you want to be like that particular individual, and that inspires you to take that particular subject. Is it the case for anyone out over here? Out of these two topics which I've told you? Not at all. Okay. See, another thing what I see which happens is because of your parents and friends. Like, you know, some of your parents will tell you, no, you study commerce, it's easy for you to get a job. Okay, so you get a job. So other streams are like, no, you say, no, science is something for engineers, doctors, they talk about, they say, you study commerce, you get a job. So your friends and your parents will guide you to get into that area. Okay. And for some other, it may be just like that, but they want to be something. So they choose a subject of commerce. Okay. This is just a basic which I'm coming across to a particular subject. I personally would suggest all individuals, no, any individuals, whenever they take a particular course, they should take based on their character. Okay. Now, how do you think what's your character? So, who is the best guy to tell you what's your character? Okay. Some people may be good in talking. Some have a business skill which might have come up from their family background. Okay. So, anyone, I would personally suggest like someone, you choose some subject which should be based on your character and attitude. Okay. Now, how do you build up this character and attitude to what you come? It's a daily growth, no? With the people whom you mingle around with and the people whom you talk around with. Hope people are able to understand what I'm talking about. Is it if I should change my language or something? Hope you understand. See, basically what happens though, quite a few people might join commerce stream because they are a sports person. Okay. Now they have to spend more of the time in the sports field. Okay, they'll have to go to the practice sessions and things like that. So they feel the commerce is easy to study. Okay. And they have a particular character. And the people who in the sports basically think they want to get into a government job or something like that, right? They basically think about getting into a government job, but not all sports person get into a job. Okay, some may reach to a different level. Not everyone reaches to the Olympic level. Okay, some will stop near the college level. Some will stop in the university level. Maybe some in the state level or national level, whatever it is. But some succeed. But everybody doesn't get that sports quota to get into a job. Basically, the people who are in the sports get into the banking sectors, and they usually try for railways or things like that. But being a sports person will have a strong attitude and a strong character for himself. They will be always be facing failures and they'll be losing things, and they might build a different character. Okay, I'm just trying to tell you these are the characters which build you to choose a particular subject. Okay, you could be a son of a businessman. Most of them out here maybe the children of business persons. Okay, so what happens is like you have no choice. Your parents will always tell you belong to this business community, so you have to take away from wherever your father has left or your uncle has left, or You might expand it from wherever they started it. Okay, but some people, what happens is like, they say, no, I don't want to be in my father's business or my uncle's business. I want to start my own. Okay, and there are some who want to start their own, and they want to start their own business as it goes on. And some could be the children of the professionals. Okay, you may be children of some senior managers in some companies or some major companies like an HR manager or a general manager or something. So the children wants to be like their dad. Okay, the reason for getting into this is because they've seen their dad growing and the parents growing in a particular field or in that profession. So it becomes easy for you because you some will be really good in the cultural activities like NSS, NCC, and who can be a good social worker. And the streams are quite open. Okay, it's very open for the people across. I will be just briefing about the different generations of workforces. Okay, how it used to be previously and how it is now. Okay, the initial generations are traditionalists, where the people were born maybe someone of your grandfather's period. Okay, these are the initial workmen people. So they used to work. They can do anything. They didn't have an aim of such something. For them, if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Okay, they belong to that sort of generation. For them, there was no necessity needed, or there was no needs for them as such. Okay, so then came the next generation called baby boomers. This is how we term it in the HR concept. Okay, now these baby boomers are basically could be someone who was born between 47 and 64. 64. That's how they say. They will be plus 2 or 3 years here and there on the either side. Okay, these baby boomers could be your parents, like this generation basically is like they get a job, they join in a particular company, and they retire in the same company. Okay, it's like that. That generation, for them, the luxury was like when they retire, they construct a house, they buy everything after their retirement. Okay, it's not like they do it right now or something like that. Okay, for them, there was touch. For them, they have a job, and if the boss shouts at you or they're humiliated in the office, they didn't matter. For them, if they join in one factory or one company, maybe that could be a reason because of the economy of the country also, those periods. Okay, they join a particular company, they retire with the company, and they retire and then they buy the houses and they construct a house after the retirement that may be around 58 years of age, and they may hardly live in the new house they might have constructed. Maybe hardly few years or 3 or 4, 5 years they live in that generation. These are the generations of baby boomers. Okay, then comes the generation X, the people born between 65 and 1980. Someone like myself or maybe like someone like Sarfraz. Now these people, this generation people, what they think is like they don't want for the retirement to have a luxuries. Like their main aim is like construct a house whenever you're working, buy a loan, get a house, stay with it, enjoy with it. You have all the things, but your house is already constructed by your parents, so you don't have to spend more money. So you will get into buying things like luxuries, like your car, or maybe a fridge, or maybe a TV. Those days, because those days it was very luxury, not as it was now. Okay, then comes the generation of millennium, the people who are as of now. Okay, for them, all the previous things have been done by their parents and by their grandparents. Okay, this generation of people, what they want is they see the comfort in the office, right? They don't mind sticking into one job. They keep changing it. Okay, wherever they feel comfort, wherever they are treated well, they stay in this sort of company. They say like, if I'm treated well, I stay in this company. Okay, and for them, the luxuries are like you having a better company and better financial planning for yourselves in the generations. And the new generation, which is the generation X, which you guys might belong into. You guys will not be thinking about the companies where you guys always want to use a new technology, want to have your own startup companies. You want to be something for yourself. You will be looking for something like, you will not be looking like what I was looking at, no? Get into a good company and work in a good company. You guys will be looking into something really good, which is very colorful, okay, which is very colorful, which gives you an identity, and where the more number of technology is used. If anybody wants to ask something about this, of generations of employees, like you have some doubt, or is it going out of your mind? Any questions? See, the amount of technologies and development has happened between the birth of the first traditional and Gen X was so vast that it has created two entity different life experiences. Okay, this is what I was trying to tell you. When baby boomers first got the job, a computer at each desk wasn't complaceable, whereas Millennium and the Gen X have never known about the world without one. This is important to know in such a pivotal time, because as we adjust to this commonly called new normal in post-pandemic, like because of this COVID, there's a new normal in the workforce. Okay, it's not the same like what it was previously. So you'll have to get adjusted with the new normal. Okay, you need to be prepared for the new normal. So I'll tell you how you get prepared for the new normal as it goes further. Now, how do you prepare for your future? How do you prepare for your future, and how are you going to prepare for your future? Can someone tell me about this? I've got some points over here. How are you going? So you are just a student now. Now, how are you going to see yourself after 5 years, and how are you going to prepare for your future? Can someone stand up and tell me? It's okay. It's fine. You don't have to feel anything. Just stand up and tell whatever you feel like. Come on, guys.
Come on, interact. It's a time for interaction. It should not be a monotonous lecture. You could ask. You could also say.
Yeah, no problem. Just stand up and talk whatever. It's okay, fine. You can talk anything. I just want to know how are you going to plan your future? So I can tell you better. Like I can give you some guidance. My aim is to help you out to guide you to get into a better planning technique.
Yeah, like now we are giving the information, right? We can get information within our hands. So maybe I could use internet to understand which steps should I take in order to get into the field which I have interest.
Okay.
Or I could ask my seniors,
Okay.
because even though we have more information, it's like stuffing your head. We don't get a specific path.
Okay.
But if we ask a person, like an individual, they can give us a specific route to which step we should take. So I think maybe that's.
But how are you going to plan your future? That's right. You said that you're getting into internet and you get. But what do you want to be? Do you have anything in your mind that what you want to be in your life?
Yeah, I need to get into finance,
Okay.
share trading, FX,
Okay.
foreign trading. So I usually do I usually take classes and all. I think these are used to.
Okay. I will just guide you further. Okay, like when you plan for your future, like for example, I'll just give a basic example. Okay, like everyone knows about Vidhan Saudha, right? Which is the state assembly. See, that's the structure. Okay, it is talked about in the entire country. Now, how did this structure come up? Okay, there should be someone's imagination. The structure should look like this, a particular design, however it is. Okay, the structure imagination should be in someone's mind. Okay, so someone gets it in his mind. The structure should look like this, and he goes to an architect. Okay, so the architect draws the structure. Okay, the person's whose of a mind the vision has come that how the structures are will go to the architect. He will tell the architect, he'll put his vision into that architect's mind. So he draws the structure. Okay. Then there's a contractor who constructs the structure as the architect has drawn it. to the imagination of the person who's already thought about it, right? And the end, it will be the users, once the structure is up, the people who use this structure, maybe it's a general assembly or something like that. Okay, so even in the same way of your career, whatever you want to make your life as, so you should have it in your imagination. What do you want to be in your life? You may get everything in the net, but what do you want to be? What do you really want to be in your life? It's not easy. Now you may think, no, I want to be a financial advisor, or I want to be in a stock exchange, or something like that. It's not easy. So you will have to understand like what do you want to be in your life. Correct? Once you decide, that is the imagination. So what you want to be in your life is an imagination. Once that imagination comes, now the second step is an architecture. Now, how do you reach to that imagination of yours? Okay. Now, maybe someone wants to be a big businessman with multiple factories or something like that. So it's already come in your imagination that you want to be a factory owner. Now, if it comes into your mind that you want to be a factory owner, how do you reach it? Then you want to be an architect. Okay. In the second position, to reach that position. So you need to do a necessary homework. How will I reach to that position which is there in my imagination? Okay, it's easy for us to have an imagination, but if you don't draw how to reach it, then you are like a headless chicken. You don't know where you are going. Okay, everybody, it's very fancy, and you all like, I want to be a senior person like this. I want to be a X, Y, Z or thing. But how to reach that X, Y, Z, which is in your imagination, is you have to draw it right now. You have to draw it right now. And you have to do the necessary courses, the necessary needed steps, like once you finish drawing the structure, how to reach what you want to be in your life. It may be very difficult for you to draw things like what you want to be after 20 years or something like that. But yes, you might be having that in your mind that I want to be some person in this company as such. I want to be an ex-employee of this. I want to be in Reliance, or I want to be a director of Tata Sons or something like that. So how do you reach there? What are the necessary courses that you study? What are the steps you need to take? This is an architecture's job, right? So you yourself an architect to draw to reach that Tata Sons. First to reach into that company. Nothing is impossible if you really think and if you plan well to reach that position. Then comes your construction positions where you do the necessary courses and studies and the necessary guidance from the people to reach that positions. Then once you reach that position, it's you who enjoy the thing. Like for example, there will be many people who wants to do a CA course. And doing CA is not that easy. Okay. So everybody wants to be a chartered accountant. Okay. Now, how do you reach a chartered accountant? So you need to take a particular steps. You have to sacrifice that 2 years to have that sleepless night, study, pass, and enjoy it once you become a chartered accountant. It's an ever-going structure. So if you don't prepare it right now, how you want to be a chartered accountant? It's very nice to tell your friend that I want to be a chartered accountant and I'll study. I'm going to join some chartered accountant. But yes, how do you be? See, once you become a chartered accountant, it's not that easy also, because to establish yourself as a chartered accountant, because the current chartered accountant in the cities will be already having the companies into their files. And if one company gives to a particular chartered accountant, he will not move from an individual chartered accountant to another chartered accountant. So how do you establish yourself in the city? It's a huge task. Okay, so it's not easy. So you have to work it step by step to reach a particular level. So I mean to say, like, the simple thing what I say here is, first have that vision of what you want to be. Be an architect for yourself, how to reach to that vision. Third is construct the process. Do the necessary steps to reach that. Once you reach that, how do you maintain it and how do you sustain it? Is like how you use that particular structure which you have constructed. Okay? Hope I was clear to many of you. Okay. Now, I actually wanted you guys, like you are just coming out of the college now. You got a lot of internets and things like that to give you a lot of details, like what you want to be and how you can shape your career and things like that. It's always better to think out of the box. Okay. See, list of career options I've put, like, see, the people who are in the commerce, the main things are like chartered accountancy, company secretary, investment banking, cost accountant, financial planner, banking, insurance, and stock broking. See, these are the basic things which comes to your mind, right? Most of the people's mind. If there's anything else other than which I've mentioned here, which has come up to someone's mind that you want to be after your studies, let's talk, let's talk. So it becomes like, or it just becomes like a boring session. Let's talk. Just speak out. If somebody has, because I don't want one or two. Let someone talk out. Right? Huh? Yes, it's good. It's good. So I just want to know, like, somebody wants to be out of something other than. I'm just thinking if people can come out of their box of thinking. I just want you to be out of the box thinking. So he said he wants to be a real estate broker. Good. No, you just have to stand up and speak loudly. It's not necessary that you have to stand up also. No one wants to speak? Or they're shy to speak, or nobody wants to speak? I'm waiting. It's okay. If you go wrong, nobody's going to make fun of you or something like that. It's okay. I mentioned some courses here. If you want to apply for something other job opportunity, other than this, which is mentioned out over there. Now, everybody wants to grow in their life, right? Nobody wants to sit at home after their studies. Yeah. Okay. Why HR? Because it's colorful and you get covered on the company or something like that. No? Okay. I wanted to think something different. Right? Did someone think out of the box? Like there are courses which are job opportunities which are out of this. So I mentioned only few which most of the people choose out of this. Anything out of this which wants to come out of your mind?
Event management.
Yes, yes, good. Yeah, it's good. You have an imagination of event management. Come on, it's only two people who have spoken out. There's so many out here. Lecturer. Logistic manager. Okay, see, there are a few guys who have come out. Like he said, he wants to be a logistic thing. See, these are the things which are not mentioned here. Okay, and there are quite different professions which come out in the corporate world. For me, to tell you about this subject is like most of them will choose out of this. Okay, and see, he has come out with something called logistics, and there is something called FR or a foreign service department. Okay, where you are recognized. Okay, it may be a job, but you are recognized worldwide. Okay, there are quite a few opportunities which has been recognized worldwide. See, maybe during our generations when we studied, when we went to the schools or when we went to the college, we hardly had any guide for us, maybe anybody to advise us, or we never had this Google to search for what we should do. But you guys are blessed with things like Google and Google search, and there are so many consultants as such who will tell you what you need to study based on your character. Or there are some job consultants which will tell you like, see, this is your character, this suits you well, and you are able to financially afford this courses. Please study this and you can reach. Okay. See, you guys are blessed. So I want you to search into some areas where, see, I was very happy with he said when he wants to get into logistics. Okay. The logistics is one major area where you guys should get into it. Okay, think out of the box. Which your life doesn't stop here. Okay, you have to move on. It's a long way. You're just starting your career. So there are a lot of things. Okay, you get into the Google, something like logistics, foreign service, corporate affairs, legal affairs, corporate legal structures. Nobody came out with all those things, which were identified and recognized outside. Okay, so things like company secretaries also. It's something very equivalent to chartered accountants. Chartered accountant, everybody knows about it. Now, company secretary, how many people know about company secretaries? What the company secretaries are, and how many have got an aim to study company secretary? Only one. Have you done the research on that? What company secretary is all about? If you could just tell me about what company secretary is all about. Anything in your words, don't mind.
It's basically about running a company and management.
Basically, see, the company secretary is not the managing as such. See, when we talk about chartered accountant, they talk about the finance of the company. Okay, when you talk about the company secretary, he is into everything about the company. Okay, the entire company is under his control. He is into the legal structures of the company, how the company should go into the share markets, and how it shines in the share markets, and how the company can grow up. This comes with the company secretary. It's one of the flourishing thing which happens now in the market. So I could see only one guy into that opportunity. Like I was expecting at least 5-6 people into it. That is one career. If you're good in studies, you should look into it. You should seriously look into it. How many are into investment banking? And, nobody got it. See, this is another area. Okay, see, investment banking, you don't have to be in India itself. You can be abroad. It's just that few extra hours that you put, right? No? See, there will be quite a few guys who will be just coming. It's a college, 9 to 3:30, right? 3:30 is what you finish. 4. Okay, it's 9 to 4. I will come study, just pass exams. Please don't get into that. Yes, you enjoy your college life. Come at 9 o'clock, go at 3:30. Fine, have a good college life. But put that extra 3-4 hours. Okay, maybe to build up your career. You have to do it right now. Okay, to keep yourself happy, later stage of your life. That little extra effort of 3-4 hours a day, now it doesn't matter much for you. But once you reach a different stage in your life, you'll always realize, oh, yeah, man, I should have put that extra 2 hours, which would have changed my life. Right? So we'll request everyone to put that extra 3-4 hours a day. Enjoy your college life. Nothing wrong in doing that. Come, have fun, have good friends across, go for a good dinner outside with people. It's all good. But always be prepared for yourself to put that extra 3-4 hours, which can change your life. Right? Did anyone think about cost accountants or something like that? No. Financial planners? Financial planners? These are the current running trends which is in the commerce stream, which is I have put it across. I actually wanted you guys to come out of this things. But if you guys are lost with these things, then I'm a little bit lost.
Sir, aviation.
Yeah. Aviation can be from any stream, right? You don't have to be in commerce. It's good. Aviation is fine. You don't have to be basically from commerce stream. I was actually, tell me. You said something. So. She needed a degree. Yeah. But what next? You're not going to stop doing only a degree. You're going to get married and go and be a housewife. That's natural, okay. For ladies, it do happen. Like, some people will just say, I just finished my degree, so I get a good husband, I get married and be a housewife. I think the current generation don't think in that way. But sometimes, yes, due to the family stress, you girls will not have a choice. So don't know very well. So it also depends on how your husband allows you to study or work further. So I don't think so. You all belong to that generation. Maybe you will have to shape your career. So don't stop at a degree. So imagine and be to the next level. Okay, I'll move on to the next subject. How are you going to get an edge over the other students when you go for an interview somewhere in the company? How you are going to be a different? Like, see, when you go for an interview with a company, you have to be something different for you to be selected. Okay? It will be hardly a 20-minute interaction between you and the HR. Or maybe your CV for him to be selected out of the 1,000 CVs coming in. How are you going to do it? How are you going to be that one person who is different from the other people who complete your degree? There is, okay, I'll come to you now. You may be from this particular college, there will be 100 people who are completing commerce, right? Similar to you, in this Mangalore itself, there will be around thousands will be completing graduation in commerce stream. If you go to Karnataka, it will be another 50,000-60,000 people completing graduations. Correct? So if there is a vacancy in company like Tata's, imagine how many will put their applications there. There will be around 60,000 completing roughly in Karnataka. At least 10,000 applications for 2 or 3 vacancies. Correct? Now, how are you going to be that different person for you to be chosen? How are you going to be that individual person who needs to be chosen? And that too with the interaction of 20 minutes. Or maybe just by seeing your CV. So how are you going to be that person? Right. So everyone is smart. You being smart, like everyone thinks that I'm smart, even I think I'm smart. So nobody feels that personally they are bad from others. Correct? Everyone are good in their own ways. Okay, so I will give you some hints. Okay, now you guys are studying, and I feel that you will always have that extra time of 4 to 5 hours for yourself. Okay, join some company, wherever your dreams are. Okay, someone said he wants to be a broker or something, real estate broker. See, you want to be a real estate broker. Correct. It's like, how do you be a better real estate broker? So finish your college, go spend some 3 hours in their office every day. Now, by the time you finish your college of 3 years, you already got 3 years experience with you. Correct? You already got 3 years experience with you. You already have an edge about the person coming and applying for the job in that time. Correct? Am I right or not? Yeah. It's not necessary that in the evenings or something, like maybe on Saturdays or Sundays or wherever you can join, please join. Start working right now. It's not that we are pushing you on. Don't work for money. Don't work for money. You might get money, you may get stipend, you might not get stipend. I think, but do the college have an intern program for students?
Process.
I think so. I think
Because of the pandemic, many want to postpone.
yeah. See, I was in my previous company when I was working. I had students who was come and work with us on a regular thing. They're now bothered about that money. They got that 2,000 rupees stipend for their bus and to go to and fro, but they work with us like a normal employee. So when they finish their college, they have this upper hand compared to other students because they get chosen because they know how it functions in the organization, how it works in the corporate sector, what are the disciplines to be followed. And the moment the interviewer asks the question, this person has an answer of an employee. So the interviewer will always interview as a fresher. When you finish your graduation, they say, oh, you just finished your graduation, show me your resume. So what are you good at? So you say, as a 3 years experienced person that I'm good at this. Then they'll ask you, do you know really do this? Yes, I know about it. So you are always having an edge on that person or maybe the other persons who are coming for interview. Okay. Anything else you want to ask in this? Any guidance on the same subject, working as an intern? do you feel, then you may ask me like, do we have this time to study? How do we concentrate on our studies? You will always have that question. So you will always have to take this time out to gain this experience. Okay, now your minds are very free. So you will be having a better ideas from the person who is already working in that company. Okay. Whenever you join as an intern to some organization, always choose a company which is very process oriented, which has a proper system. It is not just for namesake that you want to join somewhere to join. Because the first place, wherever you join, the culture inculcates into your mind and you start behaving like that. Got it? So please choose a company which is highly process oriented. Imagine you are choosing a company like Cadbury's. Okay, you join as an intern over there. By the time you finish your graduation, you was also an intern. There comes a vacancy. Your manager always feels, oh, this guy was doing good. Yeah, why can't we observe this guy instead of putting an advertisement and selecting somebody else? Okay, so these are the advantages if you work as an intern. Right? Okay. Acquire all the technical skills needed. Okay, if you join or you want to be something in your company, always learn about the technical skill. Now, if you're into commerce background, I think Excel holds a very key thing. Learn Excel. Yeah, Excel, Tally. Tally, like if you want to be an accountant, but if they want to be in a higher position, Excel matters a lot. Tally is a bookkeeping. Maybe you can get into SAP or Oracle or whatever. It is not nothing like it's not a software program. And I talk about SAP or Oracle. Okay, it is a software system which functions the daily operations. Okay, so you learn the softwares before you get into a company. So when you sit across the table with an HR and say that, what do you know? He says, sir, I know SAP. So do you know to work on SAP? Yes, you say, yes, I know to work on SAP. You ask anybody in my generation, nobody knows about SAP. But most of the major companies, they use Oracle and SAP for their daily operations. Okay. So this is what I'm trying to tell you. Learn Excel. See, basic courses are fine. Okay, you go to a computer class, they teach you, maybe in the college, they teach you certain basic Excel, how to open Excel, how to put formulas. Okay, and all those things happen. But you can always get into Google, create your own spreadsheets, try working on something, create a data of your own, working on it. So you get a step ahead of others. Okay, and also earn some other technical skills. Okay, when you are from the commerce stream, the numbers always matters. When you are reporting to your boss, the numbers. How do you keep memorize your numbers? There's something called abacus, which you learn, right? You heard about abacus, where you tell the numbers just like that. Okay, keeping the numbers in memory is very important. Okay. There's so many things like that. This is one of those things. Like, for example, she wanted to join in HR. Now, joining in HR, how does she identify a person in that 20 minutes, right? Like, given 20 minutes, you have to select a candidate. You don't know how you perform. So how to get into that skills? So that are the other skills which she has to inculcate into herself before joining into HR. Okay, I'm just giving you some hints. Okay, how do you learn the body language of a person? So for me, being in 20 years in HR now, I sit across a person, talk to him 2 sentences, I can tell him what that person is and how he can perform. It comes by experience. Okay, he sits in front of me, just 20, not even 20 minutes. I just have to interact with him for 5 minutes. I can tell you how long that person can perform and how good he can perform. So these are the skills, which are the other skills which you should learn before you get into the job. Getting into the job and learning, that's a major skill. So this gives you an edge over others. Okay, out of the other 10, 20 people who are applied for job. All right. Command over language. It's very, very, very important. Command over the language. Being in Mangalore, I feel most of them will know at least 4 to 5 languages. Anybody knowing less than 4 to 5 languages, please lift your hand up. Less than 4 to 5 languages. In being in Mangalore, Many will know more than minimum 5 languages in Mangalore, right? No? See, basic English, Kannada, Hindi you learn in the school. So 3 languages natural for yourself, right? And if your mother tongue is Malayalam, that adds up to 4. So 4 is easy for everyone. Okay, and Tulu or Konkani, one among them is yeah, Tamil. So most will know 5 languages being in Mangalore. Correct? Now you tell me anyone who knows lesser than 5 languages, anyone who is, you know only 4. Okay. You need to improve yourself in languages. See, this is where the people from Mangalore holds an upper hand about other people when you go to cities like Bangalore, Bombay, or even Gulf countries. Because we have a command over languages and we know quite a few languages, and it's easy for us to interact with people from various places. Okay, and if you once you know 3 to 4 languages, it's easy for you to grab the other languages. People cannot fool you. Okay. This is one thing I strongly believe you have to develop your language. Command over English language is must if you're going abroad or things like that. Not only abroad, like most of the places, the corporate language is English. Yes, you can talk other languages also if you're getting into factories and things like that. But command over the language is like not you talk what you talk in the college. Okay, have a proper language. Your communication words. You might have heard about Sachin. He is famous because of his words. But you don't have to go to that high level of words, whatever it is. But read a good newspaper which gives you a good command over language. So reading a newspaper, everybody reads it. So better read a newspaper every day, so which gives you a command over the language. Right? So command over language is very important because once you get into a company, when you start working, the people who sit across your table will be of a high profile. Okay, once you have a command over the language, you will not have to let your head down. You'll be always, once you have a command, you always feel you're superior to that particular individual. Okay. Working on attitude. Okay, now what is attitude? Is ego and attitude are both the same? Okay, can someone tell me about this? Tell me, just speak out. Okay.
How they behave.
Okay. Okay. Now, there are different types of attitude. Okay. Attitude is very important for an individual when you work. Okay. You don't carry an attitude, you are not fit for a corporate company. Then you are just an ordinary employee. Okay. Ego is must for an individual to a certain extent for you to grow. Okay, people may say that Mr. Individual is carrying so much of ego, I don't want to talk to him. Fine, let him not talk to you. It's not going to change you. Correct? Your attitude is with the people whom you mingle with. How do you build a proper attitude? I feel I am boring a bit because people at the back feel a little distracted. No, I'm not, if you're fine, but if I'm boring, you want me to stop for some time and then come back. Now, how do you build an attitude? How do you build an attitude? Okay, now this attitude is always inbuilt. Okay, it can be of your character with the people whom you mingle with, the people whom you are surrounded with, and people whom you spend your time with most of the time. Correct? So always try to build the right attitude before you get into a company or before you even get into an interview. The last point which I would always like to tell you is how you walk, how you dress, how you speak make a lot of differences when you face interviews. the way you walk into the HR office makes a lot of difference. And how do you build this character? You have to start it right. It's fine that you wear very casual appearance and come to the college, but what happens is once you finish your college and you go somewhere else, also you feel, oh, that is the right way of dressing. Because that is built in you. Correct? You feel most of the students wearing a pant up here. Maybe religious, I don't know. But even religious is only till the ankle, I think. Right? But most of the people's pant will be, it's a fashion, fine. It's a college, it's a good fashion. It's fine. It looks nice, no? If the boy wants to impress a lady, it's fine. Wear a different thing. That's natural. But what happens is how you dress here, and when you get into the company, you feel, what's wrong with me? I was wearing all this for so many years and nobody questioned me. Now, why should I change? Yeah, you don't change, but you will not be considered in that company. Does anybody have any debate on the subject with me? Yeah, how many are wearing the pants above certain height? I think quite a few, I believe. It's a fashion. Okay, it was on a lighter note. Just wanted to tell you, please have a proper way of dressing. Build it right now. Maybe you're all in the final years? Yes. Yeah, hardly few more months for you to build that character among yourself. How to build yourself? How you walk? You don't have to walk like you're working for a beauty pageant. Okay. But that stiffness in the body when you walk is always needed. Now, how do you get that stiffness? You need to go to a gym. You don't have to go to a gym, but you will always have to exercise to maintain that proper structure of walking. Right? You may think this doesn't matter much if I am becoming a businessman, I'm going to sit in the office. I think you may be wrong. Because the way the boss walks into the office, it's been noted by all his employees around. And the respect you get is because the way you walk and the way you talk and the way you dress. This always makes a difference. Right? Now the girls might ask, what should we wear? Okay. I will be showing it. I have a separate slide for you. And I'll show you how, if you're getting as an employee or if the boss. You might be watching, a lot of people might be watching TV serials and you can see people how they walk in there. So that may be a dramatical thing, but wearing a proper dress, the way you walk, the way you talk, please make a note of this. This is very important for you once you get into the job. Right? Now you need a break because this is a subject which you need a break. Yes. I think you want to give them a break. No, sir.
How many of you say that you want a break?
I think you should take a 10 minutes break and just come back. So I'll continue from where it is.
How many minutes?
10 minutes. Just 10 minutes.
Can I get promise from you that within 10 minutes you'll be back? Yes. You'll close the door and no one will enter.
Okay, settle down. I'll start now. Okay, we'll come to the next topic about the subject called how to choose a company. How to choose a company that you have to get into a job. Now, all of the people sitting here, how many of them will be looking for a job? First thing that you have to tell me. How many? Just lift it. Tell me now who is not looking for job, who may not be looking for job and will be having their own business and things like that. How many will not be looking for job? Will not. Okay, quite a few. So majority will be looking for job, right? Across. Now, if one or two among yourselves, just tell me how do you choose a company? On what basis are you going to choose a company? Yeah. So let one stand up and talk. Huh? How do you get a trust about the company? On what basis you're telling the trust of the company? Huh?
Stand up and answer
Mike.
Sir,
Okay, just tell me what basis. You said you are going to choose a company on the basis of trust. So, what is that which gives you the trust about the company?
if they are selling any food products, then we have to check.
Give one example. Give any example of any company which gives you trust which you want to join. What basis?
Biscuits.
Yeah, biscuits. There are quite a few factories. There are quite a factories. There are Parle, there are Britannia. Okay. So you feel that company is good and how did they give you a trust on that? You need to say they are not cheating on the products.
Yeah.
How do you know they are not doing food adulteration? How do you know they are not doing adulteration in the food? They might be using some chemicals in the biscuit. So how do you know they are not using? So how did you get a trust that?
Yeah,
It's your imagination?
no.
No, it's just a debate. Don't be risky. It's okay. You can tell anything. I'm fine. It's a trust. Okay. Fine. Any other reasons for you to choose a company? Anyone else? This is just a sake for interaction. I will tell you how to choose a company. Someone wants to say? There is someone talking from this side. No, I'll not ask much questions. Salary. Okay. Salary is the only main concept for you. Which page you work in my environment. Okay, good. Okay. You are coming to the point. Management. How do you know the management is good or bad? How do you know? Previous employees. Okay. So people who are working over there will tell you the management is good and good salary is the pay. What is good in your terms? What salary? Yeah. How do you define a salary which is good, which is bad? Because so I'm just asking you a question. You're a fresher, you'll be going out of the college. You'll be going out of the college.
Right
So
side.
what should be the good salary for you?
Right side.
Correct. Okay. That's how you come up. You're on track. Okay. So the ones which meets your expenses is a good salary for you.
It's not good. Just have to make care.
Okay. See, I give you a particular hint. Okay, it's very important. Please listen to me. Okay. Just give you a basic hint how to choose a company. Now, he said one person said it's on the trust, one said it's on the reputation of the company. So he said someone pays good salary and the management is good. See, everything looks very colorful from outside. Okay, every company looks very colorful from outside, and they project the company is very colorful, but actually from inside it will not be there. There will be into a lot of dues, there will be into bad debts, and the company will be really struggling. Okay, they will be really struggling. Now, how do you find out as a fresher to find out which company is good and which company is bad? Correct? There will be some people who will be telling you, no, I worked with this company, I know about this company. 20 years back, I worked in this company. Maybe your father, your uncle will say, I know about this company, I tried for a job over there, that's a good place, I didn't get a job, please try. Okay. Now, is it right for you to try the job in that company? Is it good with the current date? So how are you going to judge it? Correct? How do you judge it? Okay, see, most of them say, Reliance, Tata are good, Infosys is an excellent company. Do you really feel Infosys is a good company? We don't know. We really don't know what's inside. Okay, so how do you find out you as a fresher to get into a good company? It's very simple, okay. As I say, we will take as a human being as an example, okay. If it's a human being, average life expectancy of a human being is around 80 years. Sorry. In India, it is roughly around 80 years. Okay. There will be an infancy period from first year to 10 years. Roughly, you will be in an infancy period. Infancy period is nothing that you depend on somebody else for your living. Okay. Then there is a period where it's a teenage and adulthood period, where you can work, where you can depend on your parents for your survival. Some people work, some people depend on your parents for survival. Okay, then comes an age between 20 to 50, 55, which is your productive years. Okay, basically from 20 to 45 is your high productive years. Okay, where you work very hard, you can do anything. Correct? Maybe at the age, your age, somewhere in 20, you feel I'm very strong, I can do anything I wish, like hot blood, we call it as from our terms. Correct? You feel it's okay, I come, we'll go. I can do this, nothing, beat him. Everything happens in this age. Because you got that energy. You feel that blood is very hot. Okay? Right. So your productive years are from 20 to 55, 58. It's not that you stop working at 50, 55 or something like that. You still work. Okay. After 45, 50, you find most of the people very sick, less of energy. You can't work as effective as the person works from between 20 and 50. Right? Then comes your old age. You have to depend on somebody else. You will be sick, you will be bedridden. You are lucky if you are healthy. It comes into that stage. So it's a human life expectancy of 80 years. I just gave you an example. Okay. Similarly, based on this way, even the companies are designed in that way. Correct? Any new companies which have just started, which will give you a lot of advertisement and very colorful picture, saying that our company is the very strongest one. So everyone feels that you have to join there. But it is not a real good idea for you to join there because the company is in infancy period. Okay. company might have taken a lot of loan from the corporate or from the World Bank or whatever banks. So once you join over there, everybody works for money. Money is a main motivator. No? Your salary and your position is your main motivator. But if you work in the few years in the expansive period, if you don't get a good increment, the company is not in a position to give a good increment. It's not worth it. Right? Am I right or wrong? Yes. Okay, so every company has got its infancy period, adulthood, okay, productive years, and sick period. Okay. If you take any companies, any major companies, exceptions of Reliance, Tata, or Jindal, or something like that, most of the companies survive 30 years. Major corporate companies around will survive only 30 years. Initial infancy period, then a high productive period. After 30 years, the productive period is over, then it's a sick company. Because if people are old, you will have to pay a lot of compensations, benefits, and unions, trade unions. The company really becomes like sick, like a human being. After 60 to 80, you just survive. You're there to survive. That's all. So even the companies are like that. When you choose a company, please choose a company which is in the productive years. Okay, which is in their productive years. Please don't join a new company because you need a job. Okay, it will be in an infancy period. You don't know what decisions the management takes, right? Because management will be very lost because it's in the infancy period. It has to depend on somebody else to take decisions. Any company, you take any, it's a small company, bigger company, $1 million company. It's all the same across. Most of the company survives 30 years, productive years, then it's a sick company. Exceptions are there. It's not that there are no exceptions, like Tatas are there, but Tatas are surviving because of different ventures. No? They are into different streams. So I don't know what stream survives for how long. You have Reliance, even the Reliance have gone into from a cloth business to, they are into different streams. They are into oil, ports and things. Okay, it's like that. Even if you buy a vehicle, for example, if you buy a vehicle, if you buy a new car, the first few days you will not go in 100 or 120. You will only drive between 40 to 60 because it's a new car. Correct? Then it's a period. Then you give in 100, 120. You kick the accelerator, it goes. Then over a period of time of 15 years or so, even the vehicle is sick. You can't go. You can't hit that speed of 120. Again, it will come back. Then it's a period when you sell it off. So you take any commodity, you take any company, or you take any human life. It's all the same. It will have an infancy period, it will have an adult period, then it will have a productive years, then it will have a sick period, then it's over, it's gone. Even if you take a computer which is being brought to the office, it will have its own depreciation. If you're doing accounts, guys will know about it. It will have its own depreciation. Over a period of time, it is scrap. You can't use it. You might have paid any money. You buy an item of 10,000 rupees computer, you buy a computer of 1 lakh. Same thing, it will not survive. Some guys will be having a phone of 1 lakh rupees, some will have of 12,000 rupees, right? But the expiry period of the phone is 3 years. It will not cost 3 years. Either you have it 1 lakh or you have it 10,000. So how do you choose? You have money, you choose. Correct? The same way, when you choose a company, I'm just giving you certain examples to choose a company. So when you get into a company, always have a study about the company, find out the structure of the company, find out the infancy period, the adulthood period. The best period to join to the company is the productive years. Okay. Now, how do you find out the productive years? Most of the companies, let it be software company or manufacturing sectors, the productive years are mostly expires by 30, 35 years. After 35 years, there will be trade unions, will be demanding for more compensation. The payouts are more than the revenues which a company gets in. So what happens is your increments are less. You will be another employee over there. You will not have a growth. This is the reason which I gave you an example of Gen X, your generations. Like if it was a initial generation, they wouldn't have mind. They join in that company, they retire in that company. That's over. Then came the next generation where you have an option of joining other companies. The generation like you, where you are getting into a job, you will be always looking for your comfort. You will be looking for something from work from home. Correct? You want to sit in some hotel and you want to work. The company will be somewhere else. You may not even find offices future date. If you want to find offices, like if you go to the corporate offices in Bangalore, if you want to have a working station, you have to do a reservation for that. Because you are not allowed to come to the office regularly because of the high rent which they have to pay for the office space. The moment you come to the office, the expenses incurred by the company for the offices are too high. So they allow you to work from home. For you also, it's very comfortable. You work from home. One day you visit the office, share your details and data. So now, in our generations, what we do was like, we used to gain experience from our seniors. If you don't know, we used to go there, ask them. But your generations, you are not going to get any experience from your seniors. It's you yourself have to build that experience because your interactions with the people are going to be reduced. This is what I was talking about, new normal. Now, with the COVID period, you might have found most of the people working from home. Yeah, you will be doing working from home what? What is your knowledge? It is limited to your knowledge, right? Do you having any interaction with others, your seniors? No. So the only source of knowledge which comes like what he said, Google, YouTube, which gives you, yes. But again, that person gives you the knowledge what he has. Where do you get the insight for what I should do? How do I grow to the next level? So this is the new normal which you Gen Next has to inculcate among yourself. It's not a joke. It's going to be serious if you are looking for a job. Because we guys had somebody in our office to guide us. This is how you grow. This is the books you should read. This is what you have to build in yourself to develop yourself. But you going further to the new normals coming in, work from home. It's a technology working, Zoom and all those things. Your interactions are very, very, very limited. Then the knowledge is only to paying money and getting it through some courses. Okay, so always be very careful when you choose a company. Okay, it may be very nice now, say that, oh, I've got work from home, they are paying me very good salary, I don't have to spend for bus, I'm with my family sitting at home doing the job. Think over it. Think over it, how you guys are going to go further about it. Okay, this is just talking about the aging about the company, giving you a basic idea how to choose a company. Okay, the next thing is you decide on what company you're going to get into it. Okay, how do you know about the company? You get into the Google, there's something called Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Okay, there's something called Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Any company registered in India will automatically get registered in Ministry of Corporate Affairs. You want to do business in India? I'm only talking about India, I'm not talking about abroad. If somebody is going to work in Gulf, I personally don't know how to find out about the company. But if you're working in India, please get into a website of Ministry of Corporate Affairs. You have to just type in Google MCA and put the name of the company which you are going to work. It gives you the entire list of the company, in the sense, who's the owner, how many partners, how much they have invested, from where they have taken the loan. Now, the world is so open. Initially, we don't even know about the company. It's about only by the word of mouth. We say, oh, Corporation Bank is a superb company, and I've got a bank job. Nothing, around say job, go at 9, come back by 6. I'm like, yes, that is fine. You will be there lifelong as a clerk, and the maximum you end up is a manager. But you guys are not going to stop there, right? So get into this website, MCA, which gives you the entire details from where the company has got the loan from. This is because I'm telling you to find out about this thing is because, again, the increment, how much salary the company can offer you, how much they will increase you over a period of time, and what level you can reach. If financially the company is not strong, there's no point in joining that company. He was telling that he's got a trust about the company. How do you have a trust on the company? You don't know what's inside. To find out what's inside the company, please get into this website. Okay, it's very easy. You get into the website, type the name of the company in that thing, give a search, it will give the owners, names, everything, entire balance sheet of the company. I think for the get the balance sheet, I think you will have to do some payment on that. But other than from where the company has got the loan, where it stands, how many bad debts it has, everything is shown in that list. Okay. The other thing which I want to tell you, the third point is, please join a process-oriented company. What do you mean by process-oriented company? The process-oriented company is a company which has got its policies in place. It has its own structure in place. It is not like telling. There are companies in Mangalore. Okay, when it comes to the increment time, they'll say, "No, we'll decide." There's no period for increment or such. They'll say, "No, we'll decide. Let the company do business. We'll pay." Okay, then they will say, "Mr. X, 100 rupees for you. Mr. Sham, 100 rupees for you." It's like an ad hoc. There's no process. How do you decide? Most of the companies in Mangalore do that because it's not process oriented. Okay, so I would always wish you guys go to major cities, bigger cities, metro cities, which will change your life. The people you deal with, the quality of people you work with, the work culture which you will inculcate among yourself is very important. Maybe you may feel very happy now, like I'm getting only 15,000 in Mangalore. Yeah, even in Bangalore I get 15,000 rupees. There I have to spend for accommodation. Here I'm staying in my house. My mother cooks for me. I don't have to cook. It's happy life, but yes, maybe 5 years down the line, 6 years down the line, the person who was joined in Mangalore, the salary will have reached only 20,000, whereas the person joined for 50,000 in Bangalore might have reached 60 to 70,000. This is the difference. And the quality of people you deal in the metro city and the bigger cities, the quality of the company is different. You will realize only when you start working in this. So please don't restrict yourself for your local hometown for the little comfort that you get, your mother's cooked food, which is the most happening thing, and a peaceful sleep. Please don't go for that. Select a major company, select a process-oriented company, select a company which is in the metro city and a bigger city. The farther you go to places like Delhi and all, it's so fast, the life changes just like that. So anybody who can go to cities like Delhi and Bombay or Bangalore, you will be more successful in life over a period of time. Anything to be asked in this subject? Anything anyone wants to ask? Fine, I'll move to the next. How do you prepare a resume? Is this important? Is not important? Yeah. See, the interviewer or the portal where you're going to upload your resume, you just see for a fraction seconds, hardly a fraction seconds. Now, as I told you, if it is for 2 positions, some 60,000, 10,000 applications will come because there are thousands of people like you who will be completing the course and looking for a job. You might have heard what's happening in BR for the railway job. It was a chaos. There's a few positions and thousands of applying. So how do you get into that thing? How do you prepare a resume? What should be in the resume? Yeah, the basic things which comes in that is your name, your date of birth, but date of birth now hardly people give because most of the girls don't want to give their date of birth. So it's okay. It's okay, but the HR guy is smart enough to find it out. Yeah, no, it's easy for the HR to find out. They'll find out if you completed your graduation in this particular year, it's 21 years. It's so easy. It's so easy to find out. It's okay. You may not have to give the particular date. It's fine. Okay. The basic thing which comes in is your name, your address, your phone number, your email ID. Please always make sure when you give your resume, please give the active phone number. People have a tendency of giving someone else's number because they feel they will be irritated. Yes, there will be a misuse by the people whomever you send the resume. Correct? Especially for the girls, okay? So be careful when you give your numbers. Okay, because you don't know where the resume goes. It goes into thousands of hands. You don't know who handles your resume. So you have to be very careful in dealing and giving this phone numbers when you make it very public. The moment you give the phone number, it becomes very public. Anyone can do it. Maybe the HR finds something this is not useful, he'll just throw it. It may go to the road and anybody can pick up the thing and they'll find your address, they'll find your phone number, they'll find your email ID, all those things. So it's always better to give a proper email ID and a communication number which is very active. Okay, which is very active. So these are the things. And you being freshers, you will not have much to highlight in that. Okay, you will only say that I have finished my graduation at this particular year. What else are you going to add in that? What else? What are the experience that you're going to add in that? Quality, what quality? You can be bluffing, right? I will not believe as an HR what you mentioned in that. Right? So this is where I said, if you're working as an intern somewhere, this 3 years or this period, as an intern, you learn some experience, please mention in that. Okay, please mention in that. I'll just tell you about some types of, there's a hard copy, which is a printed document, which will give, I think everyone knows about the hard copy of the resume, right? Right? Then you'll have a soft copy, which will do it in a soft copy and send it. Basically, you take the printout of the soft copy to be a hard copy, right? Now, there is something called hyperlinks. Have you guys heard about hyperlinks of resumes? Anyone has learned about the hyperlinks of the resumes? Anyone? Can anyone know about it or something like that? Okay. Now you have hyperlinks are nothing but you have resumes in LinkedIn, Naukri, and all these portals, right? Where you will say that you are good at these things, and there will be somebody else telling that you are good in that. Okay. Is it new for you all, or people know about it? How many have got your resumes in LinkedIn? Okay, maybe it's new for you. I think, but many will be aware about LinkedIn and Naukri portals, right? For jobs. Okay, see, these are the hyperlinks which comes in your resumes. You always keep these hyperlinks. Your resumes are more valued if it is in a LinkedIn or Naukri or thing. So you don't know when the person are searching for it. Correct? You are not given your resume to somebody else, but you have hyperlinked it in a Naukri portal. So I, as an HR, whenever I find a vacancy, I search for it and I call you. Correct? So it's always important that you update your resumes quite often in your hyperlinks over a period of time. Now it is difficult for you to make a proper thing. I can just show you one sample of it. So I'll just show you. Then there is something called barcoding. Have you heard about barcoding? Yeah, how do you create a resume in the barcoding? How do you create a resume in the barcoding? Can any one of this, I think you were talking, so you can tell me. Just tell me, how do you create a resume in barcoding? This has come very recently. It is not an age-old. It has come up quite recently. Yeah, it's scanning only. But how do you get the barcoding? How do you get your resume in the barcoding? Okay, get into the Google. I'm just telling you, get into the Google. There's a few free barcoding sites. Okay. Create your. It can be QR code. It can be barcode. There are two options. Okay. It can be QR code. It can be. When the QR code comes in a square, barcoding comes in that straight line, parallel line. So you can create your entire resume in that. Okay, whenever you give it to somebody else, you have to just give this QR code and you have to give this barcoding. So the person who receives it scans it to the latest phones, his entire detail comes in. So your resumes are not misused by the person who is not authorized to use it. So either the person who receives it either uses the resumes, if he needs it, he will keep it, or else he'll delete it. So it is not like anybody in the street can find your resumes. Sorry. Correct, right? If anybody wants to know more about it, I can tell about it. So you're just getting to the Google, getting a free barcoding or QR coding website, create a resume in that, create a QR code, keep it for yourself, send it to the person wherever you want to send it. Now, there is a catch here, okay? Now, if you're sending a QR code as a resume to somebody else, the company which is in the latest trend will come to know about it. They know how to use it, okay? And you'll be very happy that you guys are little forward than other people by sending barcode and QR code. So you will be considered because they know that you're smart. You're doing something which others are not doing it. But yes, there is a catch. If you send it to the company where the HR is not qualified enough to read this barcoding, or he doesn't know how to use it, you are in a fix. So you know what quality of company you are sending it. Got my point? If you send it to a company where the HR doesn't know how to read this barcoding and QR code resumes, you're gone. He'll say this is what that fellow has sent here. He doesn't know to send the resumes. But if you send it to the right company, he says, okay, this guy is smart here, he's into the latest trend, and I should hire this company because this guy is thinking way above than the other people. Okay, and it has been appreciated. You may laugh at that other person saying that he doesn't know to do the barcode. Yes, you are not worth into getting into that company where the HR doesn't know to read that QR code and the barcode of resumes. If you're looking at it, then what happens is like you need a job, you need a salary, and you will give a hard copy, and somehow I need a job desperately, because it do happen sometimes. Money always plays a role in deciding your career, and it's not your fate. Right? Then the other thing is, which the new trend which comes is your presentation of a video. Okay, you make your own video. Now there are a lot of smartphones which can be used to create a video. You create your video like instead of interacting with the HR, because HR will interact with you only for 10 minutes or hardly 20 minutes if it's a good candidate, or it's just rejected there. But if you created a video of yourself, your resume as a video, maybe in a hard copy or soft copy, you create a link about the video. What happens is, this fellow, when he's free, he will go through it. And he knows, he gets the entire detail of yours. Okay, he doesn't have to fix time, call you, see the time that you have to go for lunch. Or he may be sitting in the lunch and he may be seeing your thing. He may be able to understand you. But if you're doing this video of your resume, you say, I come from this place, this is my name, I'm good at this, I've done this sort of things in the college. Okay, these are my extracurricular days, I've tried this out in the college. I was heading the cultural department of this thing. This was the event I organized, and this was success, and these people attended. Okay, and these are some clippings. So this is how you create a video. I'll just give you an example. Okay, so don't make it too lengthy of 20 minutes or something. The person will have a patience of seeing it for 10 minutes only. The HRs who are looking at it will look at it for 10 minutes only. So maybe this is the latest trend which you can try into it. Create a video about yourself, well dressed, groom yourself. Okay, create a video about yourself and you can send this to the HR fraternity. Now, it's a trend where this WhatsApp moves a lot. So if there's an HR manager in the WhatsApp, send it to him. So he sees it. If not for his company, he can always recommend you to the other company because your entire interview is there in that. 10 minutes. You should predict the questions what they are going to ask. I'll give you that questions which comes in. Okay, I'll give you the 10-15 questions which will come in. Whichever you want to note down, you can note it down. So based on that, you create a video of yourself. Anything else you want to ask on this subject? You guys are clear about this? Is it useful for you? Or?
Yes, sir.
Now, the other things are types of interviews. Okay, this is only for the people who are really looking for jobs. Okay, yeah. Now I tell you how to face these interviews. The basic interviews which happens is face-to-face interview. This happens only if your resume is selected. Okay, the first step is always your resume. Your resume has to be attractive. If your resumes are not attractive, you're not selected. Some people don't even put their names at all on the top in the resumes. Okay, so please make your resume very attractive. Let it not be more than a page. Whatever qualification you have, whatever experience you have, please ensure your resume should not be more than a page. Because the HR person who sees it doesn't have a patience to read entirely what you've written in it. He will just see it through it. That's all. You may be thinking, you may be putting a lot of effort day and night sitting to make a resume. But an HR who reads it will hardly see it for one glimpse. He will only see your name, the number, your qualification, where you work. But one, you may write big stories like see all the grammars, get into the Google, type, spend a sleepless night and prepare a resume. Not worth it. Not worth it. Whatever you mention, that little thing, let it be very crisp and clean. It's very simple. Everyone knows that you're a fresher. Right? This is where the video helps. Got it? So once your resume is selected, if they feel that you're qualified enough to be called for interview, out of 1,000 applications, hardly 10 or 15 people will be called for that 2 positions, which is going to happen. Correct? You will have a face-to-face interview here. You will interact with the person face-to-face maximum 20 minutes, not even a minute more than that. How do you impress this person in 20 minutes? Here comes the way you walk into the chair where the person is sitting. How do you enter the hall? Okay. There will be deliberately people throw papers into the floor to see whether you pick it or not, or you walk straight. How do you walk and how you build that attitude to reach to that seat? How you dress, how well you are groomed, makes that first impression. Your 50% interviews over there. Because you're a fresher, because they know you're a fresher. They know that you're not an experienced candidate. So how you dress, how you walk inside, and how you greet an individual, and how you give that shake hand makes a lot of difference. Now there's no shake hand, so it's how you sit. And you have to sit very confidently. Don't carry a bulk of bag and a big file and keep it on this table. Not needed. That's the olden days. You don't have. You have to sit firm in the chair. Sit firmly, lean back, don't touch the table. Right? Only thing you give it to him is your resume. You may carry a file in your lap where some companies may wish to see your certificates over there because the HRs may be age-old person. He may be of my generation. He may not be of your generation. Correct? So you need a job. You have to satisfy. You are presenting yourself for somebody else of what you are. Okay. So face-to-face interview is a very important thing. First, find out who's going to interview, what age caliber he belongs to. If it's an old person, please carry all these things. If it's the latest new trend person, go free. Don't carry anything with you. Just go. It's an interaction. That's all. Okay. The first thing is you're walking, how you dress, and how you talk, and how you greet him. Right. Then comes your language. How you speak. English is a communication language. Most of the companies or the corporate companies where you get into the hold over the language makes a lot of difference. Please don't mix other languages when you speak a particular language, unless or until needed. Because some people have a tendency of adding different languages while talking, adding some Hindi, adding some Kannada in between, or adding some of your own language. Okay, so this is enough for you to start your interview with you because you guys are not experienced, you're sure. Okay, but if you have worked as an intern, you'll be still more confident to answer him what you are. You got that 3 years experience with you. Right? Maybe 1 hour or 2 hours. You know what's happened in this company, how they dealt with a particular situation, and how you have done that job. Right? Then comes the panel of members. Okay. Now this face-to-face interview is over. That is one side. Then comes to the panel of members. The panel of members are like you may have to undergo interview with HR, department heads, the general manager, or different people in the company. Okay. In some companies, what they do is they finish with HR. You go reach in the morning. You finish HR, then wait for the HOD to come, then finish with the HOD, then over, then you go with the GM, then over, then again to the director of the company. So it's a process. Like now that things are changing. Okay? It's changing, but not in all companies. But most of the companies, it's changing. It's changing. The current trend is changing. So you will have a panel of members where the interview is happening. So in this panel of members of interview, what happens is like you sit in a chair, you sit comfortably. There will be 10 people asking you the same question at the same time. How do you? They put you under stress. The aim is like you don't know whom to answer first. Okay, there will be a set of panels. Okay, mostly it will be a panel of 4 or 5 people. Usually sits when there is a panel of interview. So here in this interview, you should be always very confident. You should be very confident, and they will try to put pressure on you. So you should be making sure that you will be talking to one person at a time. Others tell, excuse me, let me finish this and we'll continue the next one. Okay, so this is how you go with the panel of interview. Written test, I always feel written test is a luck. Okay. Sometimes some will get good marks, and some people who are really written it, you don't know. Because the evaluator, some will be really tough, some will be very easy. So some will be through or so this usually happens in the government jobs. If you're getting into banking sector or railways or things like that. I hardly find that things happening in a corporate thing. A written test. If it's only you are a content writer, or a lot of writing is needed, they'll give you a written test, or else it doesn't happen. Then there will be a group discussion. How many have attended this interview as such group discussion? You will be having a campus interview, right? Have you experienced in the group discussion sort of anything else? Okay, so like, see, most of the companies, what happens is like, especially the call centers and the software companies, they recruit the people based on the group discussion. Group discussion is like, for example, there will be around 25 plus people sitting in a group, or maybe not necessarily that big number, it can be a number of 10 or 5. And they will give you a topic and they'll ask you to speak among yourself. Now, you may not be knowing about the subject, they'll be giving a random subject. Okay. Now, here, what the person looks at is, it's not that are you talking sense. He'll only see whether are you really active and you want to participate. Okay, so whenever you get into group discussion sort of interviews, just keep talking. Get yourself involved in. You might be talking the rubbish of things. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Here, the person looks at you, how you are getting yourself involved and how good is your command over language and how you are trying to dominate others. Just talk, just keep talking. It can be anything nonsense. Okay, so this is how it comes in the group discussion. Now, the latest one which has come is that online interviews. Okay, now in online interviews, what happens is like people will think I am at home. Yeah, like let the interviewer come again. He'll come in his house dressed. He'll not be clean. He'll not be shaved. That is not how you attend. Please ensure online interview is nothing but face-to-face interview. But only thing is you are sitting in the comfort of your house or wherever you are. But the grooming standard always matters. Okay, and how you can. But the only advantage what you get in online interview is you can always have a subject next to you in the points. If the person is asking, you can see the points and keep answering. So please make a point on what subject you're going to attend the interview, for what job you're going to attend the interview. Make a point of it, keep it next to you, not a problem. Have an eye-to-eye contact with that Zoom or WhatsApp interview or maybe Gmail chat or whatever. These are the latest interviews which happen. Okay, so please keep the backgrounds clean. Have a proper interview. Some people, what happens is the background, there is a lot of clothes hanging, maybe sitting on your terrace and you'll be talking because you don't want your parents to listen, so you go to the terrace and give the interview. Correct? So please make sure that you sit in a proper background, properly groomed when you attend this interview. I also want to tell you about the types of job advertisement which comes in. Okay. the job advertisement which will comes in, which will be very important for you, where you will get this advertisements from. Because now, once you start searching for job, now how do you come to know there's a vacancy? Who's looking for what? How do you come to know? Newspaper. Okay, so I've just mentioned something. First thing what you actually get into is the job portals. Okay, you have Naukri.com. You have a lot of job portals, like the hundreds of them. Okay, you have to find out which is the better one. Naukri is at present is the number one, so which has most of the things. And you have to see which are the portals where the companies which you preferred advertise. Okay, you talk about stockbroking and all those things. It doesn't come in Naukri. It comes in a site called IIM. Okay, so there are hundreds of job portals. Please make a study of it. YouTube will give you a better thing, which is a better job portals. Please upload your resumes right away. There are another few months to go. Apply it right away in the job portals, your resumes. Okay, then it's a newspaper where you get the job advertisement. You get it from word of mouth from your friends or the people who have worked in that company or who has already worked in that company. Then there will be internal references. The people who is already working in that company will refer you. So you don't have to put much effort in over there. There it's only how you present yourself and get the job in over there. And there are a lot of WhatsApp groups which gives you the advertisements of the jobs which are available. So you'll have to plan yourself together. I think you might have having a class group or something like that. The WhatsApp group. Similarly, like that, there are lots of job groups which is going around. So whichever your area of interest are there, please try to get into those WhatsApp groups so you get getting the feedback about the job vacancies which are coming across. It's not necessarily the moment it comes over there, you will get a job because one job application, thousands will be applying. So, but you can't stop your luck over there. So you have to keep trying. Out of 100 you try, you may get one. How things, how it comes, right? I have if you guys want to listen from you. Okay. If somebody has taken the photos, I think people can share it later on. How do you deal with the pressure or stress situation? What do you like to do outside of work? Okay, what do you actually outside of work? So no employer will allow you to work outside the work because they always want you to work 24 hours with them. So what do you want to do outside the work? So you can always say that I want to do some social service. I help people, or maybe I go to teach some students or things like that. So you can be prepared for based on the job requirement which you are applying for. Okay. What are you passionate about? What motivates you? Basically, when you say that the salary motivates you more. The more you get the money, the more that motivates you. So you pay me more salary, so that motivates you. So that shouldn't be the answer. I just told you. So be prepared. It's basically on what company you are applying for. what job you are applying for, and be prepared with these answers in your mind. So when he asks the questions, the answers are ready with you to give in that few minutes that you have in that interview. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? That's a major question. Okay? How do you plan to achieve your career goals? What's your dream job? What other companies are into this? So this question will come to you for all these people, right? So when you apply for a job, they will ask you which are the other companies that you applied for. Because you are the fresher, no? So they'll say, no, they'll say we need some 1 month to appoint you or something. They'll always ask you which are the other companies you are applied for. You will have to give your no, I'm just trying, I'm not yet applied for other companies. That's a question which the interviewer accepts. Okay, because if you say, no, you applied for 5-6 companies, how sure that you're going to join us? Then you'll say, no, you pay better salary than the other company, I'll join you. Correct. So all these things happen. So you need to be really prepared for this sort of questions. What are your salary expectations? How are you going to answer this? Someone give me a right answer from behind. Okay. I want to hear from one more person. What are your salary expectations? If you go for interview tomorrow, what are you going to say?
Debt free. Debt free.
You are not even got into debt to be a debt.
No, it's like we could manage our life without having any credits.
That shouldn't be an answer. What will be your salary expectation? It's a straight question.
Have some savings.
See, we know, I tell you, I'm an interviewer now as an HR. I know there's a job vacancy, and I know I'm going to select you. I found you suitable. This question comes to you in the last. If I ask you what's your salary expectation, they are not going 100% not going to give you the salary what you ask for. That is one thing. Correct? They're 100% not going to give you the salary what you ask for. But the company will already have a prefix salary in there for that position. Correct. Now they want to understand from you what is the salary expectation from you. One person gave me the right answer quite some time back. I tell you from that area. I don't know. Not even. Okay, someone from here, what will be your salary expectation if I ask you the first question? For you, you tell me, what will be your salary? Yeah, that's a very decent answer. According to my job role, what you're going to do, please give me. Then he'll say, I'll give you 8,000 rupees, whereas the minimum wage is 30,000 rupees. Do you agree? Now you can't go back from your word. You said like according to your job role. See, according to your job role in this company, this is the money. So how are you going to select that money? Okay. I got an answer from back. He said like, which salary which keeps me comfortable? We should always give an answer saying that I would prefer for a salary which keeps me comfortable. Okay. There are different types of salaries which you get. Okay, one which fills your basic needs and keeps you comfortable for these lectures, which you got extra money, which usually the software people gets the salary more than their requirement. They are paid very high, and they have got that extra money. And the other one is which salary which keeps you happy and which keeps you comfortable. What he said, which keeps you comfortable. And there is one salary when there will be quite a few people where their family needs them to work very hard, so they are ready to agree with any salaries when offered by the company because they are in a desperation of job. The family needs. Okay, you don't know. Some people may not be wanting to take money from their parents, so they say, no, whatever I earn, I have to earn. So they choose. So there are different types of salary which keeps you comfortable. So you should be always be in a position to tell them, I think you should always pay me the salary which is up to the industrial norms, or based on which the salary which keeps me comfortable. That should be a quite acceptable answers which is given. When can you start? How are you going to answer this question? When can you start? When can you start? See, if you say them, I'm ready to start right today, they'll feel that you're in a desperation of the job. And they feel that you're not confident about yourself. So your answer should be back to them. When would you prefer me to join you? And you have to always tell them, these are the commitments I have. I would prefer this date for joining. Or else you might be working somewhere. You need a month's notice period. That I will give you a month's notice period. Sometimes they say, no, we want you to join immediately. Then you have to tell them, are you ready to buy my notice period so that I can join immediately? So joining immediately is not a good advice, because if you're working somewhere, they feel that you're just coming for money and you're not giving the proper header for the whole company coming. They also feel, because when you move out of this company also, you go in the same way. Because when you come from other company in a very short period, you also expect that if you move out from this company also the same way, right? So it's always give them a back answer and ask, when do you expect me to join you? I have this commitment. You suggest me a date, or else I would prefer to join on this date. Even you want to join immediately, but please don't show that desperation of joining immediately. Correct? But sometimes it so happens there are 2-3 options for the interviewer. If you say you are not coming, they'll go for the next one. So be careful. It's a very dicey situations over there. So you have to understand, evaluate the interviewer, but you always tell them when you want me to join you. I'm ready to join by this date, but if you say yes, I can compromise and come early or something like that. So please don't show your desperation in joining some company, because no company is that great. You should be very confident about your talent. That's what we look at you from the candidate. Are you willing to relocate? If you're going to the metro cities, you are 100% going to relocate. So, are you going to relocate? Is another question which goes to come in. If they ask you if you relocate, where are you going to stay? How are you going to manage your expenses? Now, your answer should be, that is my headache. Let me manage it. Let me manage. But that answer should be in a very polite manner. It should be in a very polite manner. It should not be arrogant when you're answering them and saying that it's my headache, let me manage it. It's basically a headache. As I said, you have to tell them, now I've decided to join this place, so let me manage it myself. Is there anything else would you like us to know? This will be the questions which they will ask you. Okay. Do you have any questions for us? So please be prepared to ask questions with them also, to be very clear, and let that questions not be stupid ones. Okay, very clear. Your questions can be, what's my growth in this company? Where will I be after a particular period? Will I be doing the same job? This should be the questions that you are going to ask them back. Okay? So please keep this in mind. There will be so many other questions also, but these are the major questions which keep asking you. I've given you some ideas about how the questions are going to come and how you're going to answer on the subject. Anything you want to ask? I am done with the things. I have shown you a sample of resumes, and I will show you some grooming standards before it's complete. Now, let us have some question and answer sessions, like before we come into that. So, if you want to ask something, if you have noted down something or have anything to ask, you can please ask. It can be anything.
Hi, sir. You have taught a lot to us regarding how to choose a company and how to prepare a CV, all these things. Apart from this, can I ask you a question?
Always.
Okay, sir. So, There are many students here. I think all of them will not be going to get an employment.
Okay.
There will be a lot of entrepreneurs who are going to start up their own companies. So what's the message you have to give to them while they are starting a new company or a new venture?
See, you choosing your own business and you having your own startup is based on your financial background. Okay. Or maybe with your aspirations which you want to succeed yourself. So please have a concrete plan if you're not having a financial background. See, most of the people start business based on their financial background. Either their parents are already in the business, or you maybe want to go to Gulf countries or things like that and make money out of them. Because money is a major motivator. But for everyone, money is not a major motivator. Okay, over a period of time, how happy you are in your job and how, what you have achieved is not only the money which you have achieved, it's your name, fame, and reputation which you hold across, and how satisfied you are over a period of time. Okay, business comes to the people where you want to make more money and it's a business, okay, and you want to give employment for a lot. It's good. But if the people are thinking about something new, something called startups, okay, which is a new trend, with the people with a lot of ideas and coming up with a new startup, have a concrete plan for yourself what you want to start and where you're going to get your finances from. Actually, you'll have to borrow a loan from a bank or commerce industries or wherever to have your startups. If the startup doesn't work, what next? What next? Okay, so always have your plan A, B, C ready. Okay, business is fine. Okay, you can get into your parents' business also. Okay, but tomorrow, if you join your father's business, for example, you join your father's business, you may be having, just I'm giving an example, you may be having a timber factory. Okay, you want to take some decisions. Does your father allow you to take a decision? He will never. He will never. Maybe for over a period of time. You will be always working under him. Okay, he might have set you a separate business and given to you, but will you be in a position to take an independent decision? Okay, so always have a plan A, B, C ready for yourself. This doesn't work. This one is always my option. And even if you start a business, please have a timeline for that. You should always don't wait for things to happen. It might happen next year. This year it has not given result. Maybe next year it gives result. So if you started something, have a proper timeline drawn for it. If I succeed, I succeeded within this period. Or make a break even in this particular period. If it doesn't happen, I have a plan B. I have a plan C if it doesn't work. Correct. Hope you're satisfied. Don't be shy to ask questions, okay? Because you may not get a chance next time to ask something. You can always call me up when you have problems. My number is mentioned in the but it will not be that great as we interact now where others can listen. Is it done? Nobody wants to talk.
Anyone there?
I just want to show you some resumes which I. See, this is one of the samples. This is one of the sample resumes which are the basic ones which we liked it actually. So here the person has given his name in bold. Please make sure that your name is always bold. It can be seen, and your communication is very clear. Give phone number, email ID, and your LinkedIn. It's okay. It's okay. These are the basic resumes, okay? These are the basic resumes. Now, this person here, if you see here, the person has given a certificate link. Okay. Now you don't have to attach all certificates along with your resume. It's a single page resume. The certificates is in the link. So you click on the link, you get all your certificates which the person wants to see. Okay, be more technologically forward. No? So they feel happy. You don't give 4 or 5 papers and the papers are getting wasted. You give this sort of things. And maybe your achievements or something, the experience that person has put over there. About the company also, you can put it into a link. So if a person clicks over there, the entire company website comes over there. The last one is the hub, which you can see there. No? That is maybe the video which you have your interview videos or whichever that is linked over there. A simple one, which there'll be hundreds of designs which you get it in Google or whatever it is. Okay, there'll be hundreds of designs, but always make sure that you give what the interviewer wants to see. But be one step ahead in technology so the people feel that you are smart and you are in the current scenario, which gives you an upper hand. You guys want to go through it, or is it going to be more boring? You want to go through it? Boring. I'll stop it. I can just show you some pictures like. I can share this with the students. Whoever is interested can take this and go through it. This is just a grooming standard which I had from the company which I was working. These are the basic hairstyles for ladies, which is accepted in the corporate companies. Okay? This is how they like to see you groomed in the companies. I just showed you some pictures, right? These are some because girls usually tend to leave their hairs out and all those things. So if you can cut or trim or just sharing you some pictures. And the shoes which you wear and your nails also matters. It looks better? No. You may have any hairstyle or any way you look. I can see a lot of people with different hairstyles, but when you get into the company or when you go for interview, you will have to trim yourself. Okay, these are the two accepted ones in the industry. But when you come to the companies, you are not allowed to wear your own style. Okay, there will be grooming standards. Okay, now how do you build up these grooming standards? You'll have to start it right now. Okay, because that has to come within yourself right now. Or else because it will be too late by the time you get into interview. You will feel very uncomfortable changing your hairstyle and then. Anyhow, it's a college life. You can have any fashion you want to have, but I don't know whether the college permits you for that. Yeah? Not sure whether the college permits you for that. This is how the pant length is, okay? The basic pant length. I've seen many pants are above. It's good in the college, but I don't know how it goes in the workplace. You'll not be allowed inside. Okay. Thank you. Anything else you want to say?
Thank you, sir.